What is going on with Bayern? Bayern has been a bit weird with their transfers. They went from trying to get, a great midfielder in Palinha from Fulham, right? For 65 million was what Fulham wanted, and they said max is 60. Fulham said forget about it. We know United, we know Arsenal, we know City are all interested. We'll get more than 65 million. We're trying to help you out here. And instead you would think, oh, we're going to go look at a different midfielder that's class. They end up getting Harry Kane's buddy, Eric Dyer, right? Absolute disaster class there from Thomas Tuchel. How do you go from Paulinho, who had just played a masterclass against Arsenal, who were competing for the league, and then you say, you know what? Let's go for Eric Dyer, who can't even get into the Tottenham club, the Tottenham lineup, who are fighting for Conference League football. Lads, what is going on there? So now we are seeing Real Madrid and Alphonso Davies are in agreement for a transfer. Bayern are aware but are still trying to extend Alphonso Davies, but Davies seems like he wants to go and get that La Liga transfer to Real Madrid and forget about Bayern. Maybe all those transfers that he's seeing Eric Dyer coming in, he's saying, wow, Bayern is really losing their way. They're not even top of the league anymore. I've got to get out of here. Well, Bayern are going to ask for a huge fee, I will not lie. And I think for both sides, for every side in my opinion, it doesn't work out except for Alphonso Davies, which is still debatable, but I do believe it would end up working out because, let me tell you why. Real Madrid here have a injury-prone left back in Mendy, but I don't believe left back has been their main issue this year. I believe it's been the striker position. And you might be saying, well, Jude Bellingham was started off on fire. I do agree. Jude Bellingham started off on fire, but he at the end of the day, he is playing out of position. I believe Jude Bellingham and Real Madrid would benefit more because if you could see in the recent games, he has dropped off a bit. In the last 6 games, he has 1 goal, 2 assists. Back then, it was a goal and assist every single game. Now he's dropping off. Teams are figuring out the tactics of him playing the false line, and I believe it's time for next season. I believe would be a realistic timetable for this to happen, but it's time for Jude Bellingham to go back to the midfield where he rightfully belongs. Move on from Modric and Toni Kroos, I believe. You have plenty of depth already in the midfield with Camavinga, Fede Valverde, Tuanemi, Diaz. You got obviously Jude Bellingham. You have Ceballos as well. Plenty of depth in the midfield to get, to move on from those. You add Jude Bellingham once he's done with the false 9. Once you bring in a striker like Mbappe, Haaland, whatever Real Madrid want to get after, Santi Jimenez. And you should focus on that before you go and get a left back. Carlos Ancelotti had just came out and said Ferland Mendy was the best defensive left back in the world. And now you're over here trying to sign Alphonso Davies. Make that make sense. Bayern, on the other hand, are going to let go of a world-class player in Alphonso Davies. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of money, but if Thomas Tuchel is going from Paulinho to Eric Dyer, what does that say about his transfer, awareness? Right now, he's going to go from Alphonso Davies at left back to what? Dan Burn? That's the type of transfer we might see. Or maybe even go out there a center back like Chalobah or go for Aspilicuetas, who's getting very up in there in age. If I'm Bayern, I'm worrying about that. And I'm not leaving transfers and these decisions to Thomas Tuchel anymore because that was an absolute shambolic decision to go from Paulinho and let 5 million decide be the difference between that and Eric Dyer. Absolutely tremendous. And if you lose a player like Alphonso Davies, you will be in the mud. You will be in the mud. And for Real Madrid here, and for Alphonso Davies, I'm saying right now, it can work. Alphonso Davies obviously will be chosen over Mendy because it will be a big transfer. And Mendy is injury prone. But the thing is, instead of Mendy, you have Alaba. I know he has his season over and it's a big injury and all. But you have Alaba who could cover the left back. Nacho as well. You have plenty of coverage for Mendy. And and you even have Fran Garcia, but I also just think that striker is really gonna be the difference between Real Madrid right now being with everyone and then taking a step ahead of every other club in the world. But at the moment, they're on the same level still of City, Bayern, those types of clubs. But if they end up getting a real striker, I genuinely believe this team can become the best number 1 team, no debate. But you have Mendy here at left back. I believe Mendy just needs to stop being so injury prone. And, something's going on over there, to be honest, because plenty of injuries have happened. Plenty of, ending season injuries. But I do believe you have Mendy, Alaba, Fran Garcia, Nacho, plenty of cover to the left side. If anything, I would worry about Carvajal getting up there in age and try replacing him instead with maybe a Hakimi or something else. But Alphonso Davies, I believe it's obviously a step up in his career going to Real Madrid. You've already got it. You've won everything at Bayern. You want to go to a bigger team in Real Madrid, which is bigger than Bayern. I think we could all agree. Not by much, but it is still bigger. But I do believe it does work out only for Alphonso Davies here, not for the clubs. I believe there's other holes, and I believe Bayern loses a lot without Alphonso Davies. But anyways, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Leave a comment down below if you think Alphonso Davies to Real Madrid would work. I believe it only works for Alphonso Davies. I believe Real Madrid should really prioritize the striker position and move Bellingham back to midfield. But anyways, leave your opinion down below. I want to hear them. But thank you guys for watching.